Hello and welcome back to Darren and Doing It. I'm all Hester and I'm joined by the brilliant Ben Bowman. Ben, how you feeling after the weekend?
Deflated. Gutted, to be honest. It was horrible. I fucking hate them.
It was.
Mate. It was just like seeing them celebrate like that and their players, fucking little muggy players running over to their muggy little fans in that muggy little corner. It was horrible. I didn't think, you know what, like, there were so many people like really positive after yesterday, and I like completely am on board with all the positives and stuff. But I'm gutted. Like I genuinely, I feel really flat. I work with a load of gooners as well. Today was just painful at work.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's just it's that day. It's the worst game to lose, and then like going to work the next day. It's just like I was gutted. Yeah. You know them games where you just after the final whistle. That eruption from the away fans, and then you just stand there. I think I stood there after the game for about at least 5 minutes and just didn't say a word.
Yeah, that's bad. Just dead inside.
Just contemplating everything. I was just like, oh, fucking hell. I can take losing, but I can't take losing to them, especially with the way everything happened and that. And I just, I try and pick it up, but I'm just like, I am fucking gutted. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Been low today.
Really? Hopefully, this next hour or so brightens you up a little bit. Because I agree with you. Like fucking hell, the worst thing in the world. Like generally, every time they score, I was in Centre Parks, and obviously you're at the game, so it's much more like.
I wish I was at fucking Centre Parks.
I was sat there in the sports bar. Just in a chair on my own, watching it. I was by a bunch of Arsenal fans. But, like, the Arsenal fans are actually shit. They're so bad. They're so cringy. They're all wearing a fucking Arsenal kits, and they're, like, classic kits and that. But when they scored, they were like, yes! And then it just went fucking quiet. And I was like, you're in the title race. You're playing Spurs. And you're hardly showing anything. Like, at half-time, they weren't even, like, looking that happy, and I was there like, what is going on? And then this dickhead in front of me as well. So the obviously 3-0 down, you're dead inside. I'm just sat there watching it because I know I'm gonna have to like review it. I didn't want to watch it, but like I was just thinking, I'm dead inside. And then Romero gets a little goal back, and then get a penalty. And that's what actually pissed me off the most, because it was like, why are you giving? It's like that Avengers Endgame meme where it's Hawkeye, I think, and he's like, "Don't give me hope." And like, don't give me hope, because it makes it even more worse. Like I really thought we were going to equalise, and I genuinely would have got my top off and ran round the sports bar, and then just any Arsenal fan that wanted it, I would have got flat out. I would have got flat. What pissed me off as well was like they were quiet all game. And we actually got them a bit nervy at the end, which is mad to think we were 3-0 down. And at the end, they were so relieved. And this dickhead in front of me, lying on the floor with his little kid who was like crawling, little prick. And at the end, at the end, he like picked his kid up and he like shouted, looking at me, because I was like getting a bit animated. And then he was like, he went, yeah, like that, like fist bump, looking at me. And I was like, I really want to just grab his kid, starts doing the shot put with it, and fucking launch it across the sports bar, and then be like, fucking shove that up your fucking arse. That pissed me off. But apart from that, I don't know. I think it was the fact that I was one of the positive fans.
You bloody happy clapper.
Happy clapper, mate. Yeah. What's wrong with the club? It's me. But no, I was actually. It was weird because I felt so dead inside, because it was almost like, how do you even? They're like a glorified Everton, aren't they? Hit us on the counter-attack and set pieces. We had the ball, but part of me thinks maybe Arsenal wanted us to have the ball because they were so well structured, and just allowed us to sort of have all possession and then just capitalise, which we'll get into in a minute. But yeah, I was one of the more positive fans, because I just thought it's an interesting one, because obviously we've just lost to Arsenal. If you take the emotion out of it, Arsenal are in their 5th season. They're fucking good. They're so
good
good.
side.
And
Really
they
good
deserve to be like, I mean, I don't like sense, but they deserve to be where they are right now in the league.
Yeah,
and
100%.
we're at the very beginning of this process. So to show that fight, to show that to wear your heart on your sleeve, like players like Romero did, and
It's just unbelievable.
it makes you think, look, okay, we're 3-0 down, but these players are playing for Ange Postecoglou. They carried on playing the way Ange wants to play, and it almost paid off. How do you feel about that? And also, what are your takeaways from the game?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like Romero just went to another level for me yesterday. Like I've kind of been banging the drum for him all season, and just like we said the other day, I think he's probably been our player of the year. And Sunday just made me. I just can't believe, like when you've got players who they're good players, they are really good players, but he's a player where you look at him and think, I actually can't believe he's ours. I know, and again, it kind of makes it even more mad about like how people don't really rate him or don't really give him the time of day outside the kind of 4 walls of Tottenham. He was just unbelievable, and it's just this weird like. We spoke about it on Friday. Me and Flav spoke about it on one of the latest episodes of the Lab about the defense. It's just this weird paradox of just like we've got fucking good defense, but we just concede so many goals. We concede so many goals.
What do you think that is though? Like, what
I
do you think
don't
that's
know.
the? Do you think maybe that's a holding midfielder issue or
Set
someone?
pieces are a killer, man.
Oh,
Like
fuck me.
it's shit. It's not good enough. Yeah. It's really it's genuinely unacceptable at this point.
Can we talk about set pieces? Because 3 weeks ago,
this is where I'll get my tin hat out and I'll fucking start going full gammon because it's just like it's not. It ain't good enough. It really ain't good enough.
Out of the club now.
Yeah, exactly.
3 weeks ago, mate, me and you said Arsenal are going to do us over on set pieces. And that was literally the difference between the two sides. And somehow we had 2 weeks off and we didn't seem to prepare for them at all. It was almost like, oh my god, they've caught us by surprise with these set pieces. Fucking everyone and their nan knew they were gonna come at us with set pieces. And I saw on the like this Arsenal picture, there's a photo behind I think Gabriel, and it's like a big board saying basics. And it's like the non-negotiables for Arsenal. And one of them is set pieces. Now, Ange Postecoglou a month ago said that he's never had a set piece coach in his managerial career. And after the game, he said, "If I thought set pieces were the answer to us bridging the gap, I'd have put all my energy into that." Now that fucking worries me, mate. And I think that it was. Sorry, I keep like rambling on, but I think what he didn't want to do is throw like Jednak under the bus publicly. I mean, that's why I'm hoping. But what is going wrong with those set pieces? Do you think it's personnel or like structure or like the way we set up, or do you think now like the club will have to prioritise bringing in a set piece coach?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that becomes a non-negotiable. The difference between Arsenal and Man City and these top teams is that they don't give goals away from set pieces and they score a lot from them. When you look at the table of most goals conceded, most goals scored, Spurs are kind of in the middle for both of them. We're in the top basically 8 for goals conceded from set pieces and in the middle for goals scored, which again is a problem within itself. It's not just defending set pieces. Our attacking set pieces are woeful for the most part. I know we had a couple of dangerous ones yesterday. Romero hit the post. That was a good ball from Maddison and a good bit of movement. But it's too infrequent. And obviously, Romero had the header from the corner as well, which I think he got penalised for a foul anyway, which is a whole other thing in itself of some of the stuff the fucking Gooners were getting up to. But it is what it is. But it's too infrequent. But the defence, when you're either at the game or like you're watching it with your mate or whatever, and that natural pessimist inside of you as a football fan and or a Spurs fan goes, my stepdad does it all the time. He's the most miserable fucker whenever we're watching Spurs. He's Mr. Negative. Like, like in the Muppets where you've got the old geezers that are like, when it's in the theatre, they sit in the crowd. It's like they're just like they're talking away to each other, like being really miserable. I can't remember what the names are. That's like him. It. Yeah, that's him. And like there's one of his other mates who we go with, like just sit there, just like scowling at everything. He's that classic person. Like if X team gets a free kick, they're going to score from this. Watch this. Oh, you watch. This is going in. they'll get a corner. You watch, they're going to score it, and then you're proved right like one time every 10. See, I told you.
Yeah, I know it.
But yesterday, the difference was when they got those corners, you knew they were going to score.
You knew it. Yeah, you did know it.
Or at least get a chance. It's like the same as Newcastle, mate. It's like Groundhog Day. Like I think Newcastle had 13 corners in the game against us, or at least 13, and they scored from the last one. But they won the first header on every single corner. That's not good enough. That is embarrassing from Spurs. Like I think I love Ange, and we here at Daring Doing, we obviously love Ange Postecoglou. But he's undoing all of the good work that he's doing in possession and how he sets us up tactically by gross negligence of one of the basic fundamentals of the game. I was reading an article by I think it was by a Celtic reporter or a Celtic fan that a couple of years ago, they really struggled massively with set pieces in the first season. I think it was like they didn't concede many goals because obviously they were the top team, but it was something like, I'll see if I can find it while we're talking. Because I was going to do a video on it. I've made a couple of videos on the set piece already.
Did they correct that in their second season?
They did. That was the kind of only encouraging thing, really. So 9 out of 22. So they only conceded 22 league goals, I think, in the first season under Postecoglou. 9 of which was from set pieces, which it's not a lot of goals, but it's a high percentage. And then the second season, they only conceded 5 out of 34 goals. Yeah.
Okay.
So there was an improvement, but for me, the turning point, and it's obviously, I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here, but I think we've conceded 12 goals from set pieces in the league. I think at least 10 of those have come since that Vicario Man City FA Cup game. Or it might be wrong in terms of numbers, but it feels like I can only remember maybe like a couple in the first half of the season off the top of my head. And we've marked zonally pretty much the whole time. And we haven't had that many issues, really, other than the odd one of someone winning the header. And, you're going to concede a corner at some point in the season. You have to accept that. That's just part of the game. But it feels like that Vicario, I said it in a video earlier, it feels like that was a massive turning point. And it almost feels like since keepers found that, I think Ange has been found out in that aspect. That's one of his blind spots, is set pieces. And I think coming out in the media and saying stuff like that is incredibly unhelpful. But maybe, like you say, it's kind of to protect Mason and Jednak, who've been put in charge of those.
Young coaches as well, yeah.
Yeah, I understand it. But work needs to be done. It's all well and good you saying that, but you need to see the work being put in. Like you said, we've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Arsenal are a good football team, but they're a good football team at doing the very basic things very, very well. Whereas last season, they play great football at times as well. We didn't see a lot of that yesterday, but what we saw was them being compact, staying in their shape, playing on the counter-attack and scoring and creating chances from set pieces.
Yeah.
That is the sort of stuff that wins you titles. And that's what Tottenham are not doing. That's the difference. And for Ange to come out and say after the game that if I thought that was my biggest concern or whatever, or I'd be spending all my time on it or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I think that's bollocks. I think that's absolute bollocks. And it's like I said, I think Ange's stock will always be higher for this first season because of what he's come in and the circumstances, etc. And we can see in the distance like what we are and where we could go. But the negligence when it comes to things like that, the 1%ers that add up and make the difference, I think is really poor, and I think it's unacceptable. Yeah. And I think that attitude needs to change. But like I said, I think you kind of feel like the City game was a bit of a turning point. I feel like almost ever since then, they've overthought it almost. Like they found Vicario's blind spot. And I think, again, I can't bring myself to watch the game back. But apparently it sounded like Vicario, I don't know if you could hear the commentary over the screaming kids at Centre Parks, but it sounded like Vicario was coming in for like a lot of grief, and it kind of felt like
they kept putting the spotlight on.
You know what Neville's like when he gets something in his little Vicario there. He's
doesn't look comfortable, Vicario.
He's got to come there, Vicario. He's got to come out and make
Ben
it
White's
visible.
all over him. He needs to get out. They need to put someone in between them.
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is, he was kind of right because we did do that in the second half, and Sarr went in front of him. And again, what surprised, he didn't score. But it maybe I'm wrong, but it kind of felt like since that City game and then the Everton game, where the Everton game was ridiculous because they had so many corners, and every single one was basically on the money, right in the goal mouth under Vicario, and he did actually quite well to deal with a lot of them. They scored from one of them, and then they scored from a free kick like later in the game. But it felt like teams were targeting that, and then sort of teams maybe stop targeting Vicario as much, but realise that there was a blind spot with Spurs in the sense that we cannot pick up men. The worst game this season for me was that Wolves home game because it summed up exactly what we are shit at right now. I think it was it João Gomez that scored twice.
Yeah, and he's like 5'8".
Exactly. How he had a free header in the box,
Yeah.
and then we give a goal away, which he finishes off on the transition.
Yeah.
What did Arsenal do yesterday? Again, that second goal, I'm not mad at it that much. It kind of comes from the penalty
Transition,
or whatever,
Ben.
and then it's a great ball and a great touch from Havertz and Saka. It's a goal on the transition.
Capitalised on both our weaknesses. That's the most frustrating thing.
I'm not as mad at that as some of the other transition goals that we've conceded, but I am mad at the set pieces because people want to get on here and say about he's pushing Van der Ven in the back and but Ben White's playing with Vicario's glove. Bollocks! Just do better. Do the basics better. Yeah, he has. There is a hypocrisy in the refereeing of yes, Havertz might have two hands on Van der Ven's back, but you've kind of got to accept that as part of the game in terms of these things are going to get given. Do better. Defend your own box better. It's not good enough.
Stronger.
It's not good enough at all. And it's a real problem. And it's just pissed me.
It's really frustrating, isn't it? It's really frustrating because I think we're just too slight, and that's the thing. In the summer when we're bringing players in, I don't want to see anyone under 5'11", 6 foot be signed. I genuinely want to sign. Ananas, the Ananas, the Mats Vifers, those types of players.
Do you know who we need? Do you know who we need at the back?
At least.
Do you know what we need? Me and John Bass.
Yeah, literally, you and John Bass
the
at the
big
back.
man army and Proby.
Proby. Yeah. You need the big man army. We need to start recruiting a big man army. Genuinely, we need to do what the Fine Cock's doing and just recruit big men, and you'll win every single physical battle. Ben White, he'll be like, oh, fucking hell, what can I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what the fuck to do. And I don't know what the fuck to do. Because and that's exactly what it's personnel, and also we do need a set piece coach. But what I'm thinking is, Ange has come in and he's prioritised just play the way he wants to play to play, drill that into the psyche, and that's how we attack. But then over this summer, obviously, what more can you do? With the sort of development of the way we play, we all know how we're going to play, but it's refining the things that take you to the next level, like the set pieces, like the transitions, etc., etc. They're the things that we all know as fan base. We need to work on those areas of our play. Transitions, set pieces, being more physical. We need to, and I think Harry Brooks said it. 90%. He said it in a tweet. 90% of the problems at Spurs right now are fixable through recruitment. And honestly, I believe it. I agree with him because if you're looking at the way Arsenal set up structurally, narrow, very, very narrow. They allowed all the width. They knew Werner or Johnson or Kulusevski, when they got on the ball, they'd be able to nullify them one-on-one. So they didn't have to worry about doubling up. They could just sit narrow. And every time we attack, we just run into a brick wall of an Arsenal, the defensive block. It was impossible for us to penetrate that. Some struggle physically. They've really, really set up well to sort of nullify us in our attack. But recruitment-wise, we've talked to it so many times. We put Nico Williams on the left wing. The whole structure changes for Arsenal because they have to double up on him. That means one player is dragged over and they can't defend as successfully as they did yesterday. The same with set pieces. We bring in those personnel, the big players, the Ananas, and maybe another centre back, etc. A striker that's very physical.
Yeah.
Like Harry Kane people have been saying, we're missing Harry Kane.
100%.
Heading it out. He was so good at that. Mourinho said, I saw something trending on Twitter about Mourinho saying he's one of the best defenders in the team at defending set pieces. We miss that personnel. We bring that in, plus the set piece coach, because that's not we can't be naive. The best teams have set piece coaches.
Look at Arsenal when they scored the first goal. Arteta was celebrating with him.
Yeah, he was right there. He was further than Arteta, the little rat.
But that's good. That's what you want. As much as you hate them and you hate them and you envy them because it's just like everything is in place at Arsenal to to be the best. And that is unfortunately what is lacking at the moment at Spurs. But like you said, that comes with time. And
it's there. It's fixable.
It is 100% fixable. But it's fixable in the short term as well. That's why it's really frustrating that this has been a problem. If an alien landed from Mars, right, onto the planet of football or Earth, they would say, like, first you'd sort of have to teach them about like the inverted fullbacks and the XG and all that. Offside first, and it's like we don't even know what that is anymore, do we?
No.
But you'd say, like, how do you get at Tottenham? And they go set pieces, and they go, what's that? And they go, watch this. Watch how many fucking goals we conceded. I reckon an alien could defend it better than that.
Little freak-foot alien just leaping above Maddison.
Like, yeah, it's like we don't have. I think the only player we've got that's capable of winning their aerial duels and being a presence in the box is Romero, and he's barely 6 foot. Van der Ven's, that is one of Van der Ven's weaknesses as well. He's not great in the air. He's not bad at getting touch tight, dealing with long balls and heading them over the centre back like Romero is. In the box, there's been a few, like the West Ham one, he doesn't get tight enough. He just looks a little bit all over the place.
The third that could be improved on him?
Yeah,
do you reckon he could learn that?
Of course. Yeah, of course he can. He's got the skill set and he's got the mindset, most importantly, to take anything on. You saw that with his goal yesterday.
Yeah.
Like you can see how much he wants to be here and learn and all these things. And
yeah,
for sure. You're right about Arsenal's sort of that mid block that they're just, it's impossible to kind of penetrate. And like you said, we haven't got that profile of winger where it's no coincidence that I know they didn't score in the game, but when Arsenal went to City at the Etihad and kind of stunk out the gaff, City had a lot more joy when Doku came on that right-hand side, because they were able to. Arsenal were happy for a City to go wide for majority of the game, and then when Doku came on, he didn't really have the end product, but he did make a difference and made them a little bit more. Think a little bit more. And that's just the profile of winger we don't have at the moment. They were comfortable with Johnson running out of them. I thought Kulusevski was brilliant throughout the whole game.
I loved Kulusevski in this game.
It was fantastic. And I think the most of the joy that we got in the central areas was when he dragged Tomiyasu out of position and drove inside.
Yeah.
And then was able to open up the pitch and play out to Werner or drive through the centre. He was absolutely brilliant, Kulusevski. Especially when he came inside in the second half, just like we've talked about him before. I remember Bardi from the extra inch coined him as the Trojan. I remember when we played.
What does that mean, Trojan?
Just like have you ever heard the story about the Trojan horse?
No.
You not heard so the Trojan horse was. We're having a history lesson here. So I think it was in the Roman times. So it was basically like it was in Greek mythology, the Trojan horse was a wooden horse said to have been used by the Greeks during the Trojan War to enter the city of Troy and win the war. Basically, they built this like massive horse, but like put a load of like army men inside it.
Oh, okay. So it's like a colossal sort of like overpowering,
immovable object.
Yeah. Okay. And that's Kulusevski.
That's Kulusevski is a Trojan horse with like a load of little people inside him. He just like in terms of he's a warrior. Like he's that attitude, that kind of just like for someone who's had a poor run of games, the cameo against Newcastle and the performance yesterday show exactly what he is. He's not sulked. He's not got down about it. He's come in and it's like, fucking hell, I'm gonna do my best to win this game for Spurs. I'm gonna do something. Newcastle, he was the only player that kind of came off the bench and was like, right, grab the ball by the horns and go. He was
for the bench.
I felt so sorry for. There was a few players that I really kind of sympathised with yesterday who just gave it absolutely everything and tireless and kind of in their effort and work rate. And he was definitely one of them. He was amazing. But Arsenal. I got pillared actually by a lot of Spurs fans I did a review in the ground like about 5-10 minutes after kickoff, and it was it was raw. It was just my kind of initial thoughts, but I kind of got pillared by a lot of Spurs fans for saying Arsenal controlled the game. They did. Let's be honest.
They did without the ball. I think a lot of people will look at the possession stats, and be like, "Oh, we were all over." Look, Arsenal was set up in the way that their tactic was let Spurs have the ball here. Because they nullified us. They set up and made it. Yeah.
And they controlled the big moments as well. Like when it got to 3-2, it was like you had that thing of like we can go on and get an equaliser here. But to be fair, it was kind of down to our poor delivery. But it just felt quite aimless at the end with some of the crosses. But Raya was just coming out, getting it, dying on the ball. Like the streetwise, they didn't have total control of like the midfield or anything. I thought Partey was actually quite poor. I thought Rice wasn't great. Like they individually, they didn't have too much control of the ball and the pitch, but they did quite well to keep Tottenham just at arm's length, just to what, like, you know, if you've got a child sort of running towards you, you just put your hand out on their forehead and just stop them. It was kind of a bit like that, and they gifted us the 2 goals, and we created chances, like we did, but we didn't take them. But they did control the game. They did. They and it's weird because Arsenal fans. You speak to Arsenal fans, like we were shit yesterday, but they still had that. They still had that, like, I don't know. It's an intangible thing. It's a feeling, isn't it? Control is not just about the ball, and it's about a feeling. And you never really felt that we could lay a glove on them, did you?
No. But
we
again,
played well, but we did. That's how I felt after the game.
Yeah, but again, like the way they were playing, the way they're set up, the way that they knew that they seemed comfortable out of possession, they trusted each other. Like that will be us in 4 years or 3 years. Again, they're 5 years into their cycle, into this like process that Arteta's been doing for ages, and that's the sort of stuff that comes with experience. How many times have they had this fight near the top of the table? I know it's been like 2 years now, but obviously when they were short on top 4, they still had a feeling about them that they were going to go on to do big things. And like it's the experience they have in the big games that we don't have at the moment. We're very raw. The way we're very emotional. We're very raw.
Yeah.
The way we just turn up and go, we play our game. We play our game. We don't care who the opposition is. Arsenal were aware of how we could hurt them and how we've hurt big teams this season so far, the way we play. So the difference between Arteta and Postecoglou's approach was Arteta was, okay, we're going to play to stop the opposition, whereas Postecoglou was thinking, I don't care about Arsenal, we're going to play to win the game, like we're just going to do our thing, we're going to focus on ourselves. And actually, when you're going for title races, and when you're playing game in, like a week, like within such a congested period of time, that's probably the best approach they could have done, and they did it, and they completely nullified us. But
that said, like that approach from Postecoglou is fine and incredibly admirable in terms of, you know, he said before the game, basically said, "Don't back down, double down." That's what he said. That's what he said, and we love that. Like that's amazing. That's absolutely fine if you do the basics.
Yeah, exactly.
If we could keep clean, if we could keep the ball out of the net from set pieces, we would have won that game yesterday.
100%, yeah. And that's the thing that's so frustrating, like you're saying. Like we worried Arsenal, especially at the end. We worried them. We created so many chances. Obviously, Van de Ven's goal was an Antcock offside, if that. And obviously Romero hit a post. Romero could have had about 4 or 5 goals in that game. Again, we're going to talk about it a bit more because we touched on him. But I just think it's one of those things. It's like the way Arsenal played, obviously with the set pieces, etc. The moments when you're a team at the end of a cycle, those moments. You're so composed in those moments, that the match winning moments. I know I've just said moments about 20 times there, but the match winning moments. Yeah, it comes down to moments in the total race, and they capitalised on those moments. I'm trying to think of another word for moments, but I'm just gonna stick with it.
Moments. We should call the podcast moments.
Moments, yeah. I just think. Another thing as well, we had 2 weeks off. They've been playing all week, and it's the sort of stimulus of
it's rhythm, isn't it?
Yeah, rhythm. Not thinking. Don't think. Son had a chance where he was through on goal, and everyone's expecting Son to just smash it into the back of the net like he does, like week in, week out. We've had 2 weeks off, and he probably would have been thinking about that in this game for about 2 weeks. He had that moment. He skied it. Saka was up against Davis, cutting. It was brutal the way he just cut in and just really scored it. Yeah, but
he had a lot to do as well. Saka, he had more to do than what Son did. I know it looked easy, but he took that really well. And it's just like, if it's one of those things as well. If that Son chance is you don't play for 2 weeks and then your next game's against Luton and he goes through and skies it over the bar, you think, oh well, he'll score the next one. But when you're 3-0 down, just going into half time,
it was frustrating.
I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it, and it just felt like no. What is happening? Like being in the ground, it was just so surreal. It was just like, what is happening here? Like, what is happening when you're missing a chance like that? It's just like,
Yeah.
He just so well timed the run perfectly, and
yeah, it's frustrating, and that's the thing. It just come down to Arsenal were so sharp. They were their heads were like on their shoulders. They knew the occasion. They knew the consequences. We were playing like a team that had nothing to lose, and yeah, we just got capitalised on in a really like professional manner by Arsenal. Like in fairness to them, like again, I don't want to give them so much praise, but like that's the team. They're where we want to be, aren't they? So you kind of have to assess them almost at the moment. I think we have all the tools. Well, we don't have all the tools, but we're definitely we have the potential. Add a few more players as the right personnel, that physical presence, because you need to be a physical team and you need to play dirty, and then we're there, and that comes with a bit of time. So we just got to be patient, I think.
yeah, I agree.
But Romero, we've talked about it like a little bit before on this episode, but I want to go back to him because it was a proper captain's. I know he's not captain, but it was a proper leader's captain performance from him. And what I loved as well is he deserved it. We called it on the pod on the last pod in the preview, and go check out. We clipped it up and we put it on YouTube, so go check that out. But we knew that he'd have a good game, and we knew that if we were to have a good game, he'd be the key and the sort of key cog in our system to sort of nullify Arsenal. I get set pieces, that moments, that transition that fucked us over. But actually, Romero was so solid in defence. But actually, in attack, him pressing from the front, I didn't understand. I actually couldn't fathom what the hell was going on when he won the ball high up from that rare mistake and scored. I didn't understand what was going on, but I was just so full of like testosterone and adrenaline when it happened. I couldn't even like think.
Felt like Romero.
Yeah,
Romero charge up.
I embodied him. Yeah, I took out that kid. I just 2-footed him. I didn't know what was going on. And the dad as well. And I just he was so good. And what I was so pleased for him about is that he has this sort of tendency to drop a bit of a stinker in the really big games that are on television, and that's what the neutrals judge him off. So when he does lose his head or he's aggressive, Gary Neville, it goes, ooh. Jamie Carragher goes, oh, he needs to be careful. He needs to be careful. He's going to get sent off. He's going to get himself sent off. And then the neutrals think, oh, he's rash. He's shit. He's let Spurs down. He's a liability. When actually, they don't get to see him how we see him week in, week out. He proved his worth, and he proved how unbelievable he is as a character, how crucial he is in this team, his leadership, leading from the front, playing the heart on his sleeve, exactly what you want to see in a North London derby. He was unbelievable, and I felt bad for him. And so Postecoglou said, he's a World Cup winner, and I've got to get some of what's in him into some of the others. So what players impressed you? What players epitomised that and wore the heart on the sleeve and played for the badge? And I'm not saying the others didn't, but what players were you disappointed in that regard, in that sort of being pumped up for that North London derby and showing that it means the way Romero did?
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily disappointed in anyone specific in terms of that, more just in terms of performance. But there were players that kind of stood out.
Who do you think he's talking about, sort of thing? Because he must be hinting at someone.
I think he just means that, like, I think what he's trying to say is that ideally you'd want 11 Christian Romeros on the pitch in terms of his mentality. I don't think he's necessarily digging out anyone specific. I think it's just that at the end of the day, he's quite experienced in that team. Like, he's won a World Cup. He's got that natural kind of hunger within him. And not that some other players don't. If you want to kind of assume, I don't know, maybe I'm not singling him out, but like someone like Basuma, just because he's shown that inconsistency throughout the season, whereas Romero's consistency has never wavered. He's always been brilliant. Other than in moments where he's let us down in moments throughout his Spurs career, but his performances, I can't think, other than maybe getting sent off, I can't think of a bad game he's really ever had for Spurs. Certainly not this season, and certainly not even the first kind of season under Conte. So I don't know, but I think in terms of players that did show it, I mean, we spoke about Kulusevski anyway. I think his mentality is he's top. Van der Ven as well. He's top, and it will be fine. I thought Van der Ven was
show my support.
Yeah, I thought I thought Van de Ven was good. As well.
Superb.
I thought Van de
Yeah,
Ven
he
was
was
brilliant.
superb.
Mate, the amount of the recovery tackles in the second
Oh
half.
my
It's like
God.
it was like Martinelli's going for that. No, he's not. It's like,
He's rapping as well, Martinelli. That was what's so
It's
impressive because you could
unbelievable.
see, like, he was thinking, "Oh my God, I'm through a goal, I'm through a goal," and then all of a sudden he just
Yeah.
fuck off.
yeah,
It was
Yeah,
ridiculous. He was really good.
those three for sure. Richarlison as well. When he came on, he made himself a nuisance.
Yeah.
For himself about a
Yeah.
bit, which the
No.
Arsenal fans didn't seem to like. Saying, is there a more dislikable player in the Premier League? Maybe have a look at some of your own team, lads.
Yeah.
Fucking bunch
Do
of
your research, Gimps.
Yeah. And also look at your own fucking team.
Exactly.
Like,
bunch of wankers. Ben White.
The only player I actually quite like, I mean, there's not many players I like for Arsenal. The only one that I don't really mind is Odegaard.
Just because he's so good.
But,
yeah, we've got our
he's very
own.
good
We've
as well,
got Odegaard at home, mate. Lucas Bergvall.
Who? Oh, right. I was going to say Maddison. I was going to say to fuck off.
Yeah, we'll get on to Maddison.
I think he might be one of those ones that he's talking about.
Do you reckon?
And again, I'm only sort of saying Basuma and Maddison just because I think we've seen it in their performances as much as anything in terms of that inconsistency.
You can tell head down, like, or their heads drop. You can see, like, if a decision doesn't go their way, they're moaning and they're not like.
It's like, did you see Basuma at the end of the game yesterday where he was like on his knees at the end and it was like having Johnson was sort of consulting? It's like, you ain't done enough in the game to like. Well, Basuma was quite good when he came on. I thought, to be fair, I thought Basuma and Sarr made a difference for sure. I thought Sarr was really good actually.
Yeah, Sarr.
Liked Sarr's performance. I thought Basuma was okay, but Basuma, maybe I'm being harsh, but Basuma didn't do enough necessarily in the game to warrant that kind of like. I'm gutted, you know. Like it was just like, come on, mate. Like the other players have left like everything out there. Romero left everything on that pitch. Kulusevski left everything on that pitch. Van der Ven left everything on that pitch. Yeah, again, like you can't label it players like Ben Davies as well. You know what you're going to get. Ben Davies. I thought Ben Davies was okay. I did think he struggled a little bit against Saka. It's weird how different people see it. I sort of said after the game to my stepdad and a couple of other people went for a drink for. I said I thought Davies struggled today against Saka.
He had up and downs. He had up and downs. Davies
he looked good at certain moments, but he did. Saka, I thought probably overall got the better of him. I think.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, they'll get there. They'll get there with that mentality. The most important thing is they need to tie Romero down to a new contract ASAP.
100%.
He's one of the best centre backs in the Premier League, which by proxy makes him one of the best centre backs in the world. So
can't
afford to let that slip.
That game with Van de Ven and Romero was like such a meta representation of what they do together, like their how they complement each other. The aggressor and Romero, and I'm saying this was the most exaggerated aggression sort of the role he's played this season, where he was one of the first men up the press, playing fucking up front, like it was ridiculous. And then you have Van de Ven, who's the recovery, like he recovers and he makes up for when players are out of position. He's a cheat code. It was amazing to see. For Lo Celso, again, Richarlison, Lo Celso, they come on and they're playing with a lot of energy and a lot of aggression. They know what it means, and if you just in a North London derby, especially when you're chasing a game, we didn't give up, and those sort of players come on. You love to see that sort of. You love to see it, like, and as a fan, that's all you want. You don't want people to be heads down. We fucking lost. Give up. They carried on going right to the last, and they did themselves proud. And
which bodes well as well for another.
Back.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, which also bodes well for like another derby coming on Thursday as well, like Chelsea. You need those kind of players to sort of stand up and. I think with Richarlison, it was like, you know, the Roy Keane thing was like, I'm going to smash into a few people. It's literally like that. Because he was just like Richarlison probably, you know, we still know he's coming back from injury. Like he only came on for what, sort of 25 minutes or so. It was like, how can I impact the game? Get at them, just make it difficult. And he didn't do much other than that. But he gave us a presence and things looked more structured when he was on the pitch. And it kind of roughed them up a little bit, which is what you want. And that which was good. And I'd like to see him start on Thursday.
Lo Celso left back then.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about that? But do you reckon he could actually play that role? Or do you think he'd just be fucking lost?
Yeah, it'd be like, I think it was just that, right, we're playing the game in their half. Let's just get as many forward.
It was.
Romero was basically playing in midfield for the entire second half anyway.
Mate, more than that, like fucking up front. He was like the target man, just like leaping up, fucking giving him an elbow as he jumps. My God. It actually was... He wins the ball so much. I was like, after the game,
I was emotional, mate.
He was just so much. Nah, mate, he was so
Number
he was
6? Could you play
actually
number
so
6?
good.
Number 6?
Do you know what? Romero could play anywhere. Like I actually think. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, you're losing out on one of the best centre backs in the world if you
Yeah.
play him out of position. But he could be utilised. Play the inverted fullback. He could definitely play number 6, but he is one of the best centre backs in the world, and we need those types of players. They can leave like with their like chest out, head held high. Actually, Son as well. Son, he struggled. It wasn't his game. They nullified him, but he again really showed the sort of personality that we need. And actually, all of them. I was disappointed with Maddison, and we'll get onto him on the Chelsea game. But I think he needs time out now, because we were saying he probably does need like a drop in, but he's the type of player, the type of character you need to put your arm around him and say, we've got our biggest game of the season. We need you to be the star. But again, it just didn't seem like it was his day. Like it was just slipping out of his feet. He kept losing possession.
That biggest game of the season's gone now, isn't it? That biggest game of the season's gone.
Exactly.
Now it's like, right, now go and earn your place back.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably still play on Thursday, but
I mean, maybe he does need that, though. Maybe he does need that. Go on, make like so. Højbjerg played, and Kulusevski, and Ange said it's because of their performance in the training. So maybe Maddison gets dropped and has to earn that place back, and he has the mentality to do that. He backs.
If he's done that to other players,
if
he's done it to other players, I think he has to. He has to. I know Maddison's part of the vice captaincy, and I know he's an experienced player, and I know he's one of our best players on paper, but just. I don't. I just got to the point where it's like, I don't want to see him start another game for us this season.
Oh shit! Seriously, fucking hell, Ben.
No. Again, that's like going full gammon. But like, I don't want to see him there on Thursday.
I agree. Yeah, I want to see Kulusevski or Lo Celso. I'd be happy with, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, we're linked with like Eze, obviously Gibbs White. I was sat next to Nottingham Forest fan, actually. He was saying Gibbs White's really consistent. He was a bit like fed up with Gibbs White.
Really?
And again, it could be that sort of thing. As a neutral, we watch his good games and we think, oh, he's unbelievable. And we never really get to see his like every week in, week out.
Kind of the same with Eze a little bit as well. Like a lot of Palace fans have said that, where it's like everyone talks about Eze. It's like, well, actually, like they see Elise as the better player. And it's Eze's fantastic, but it's like, it's almost like to them, Eze's become a bit overrated because of how much people talk about him. And actually, like Elise is the real star that they can't kind of believe they've got, really.
Yeah.
And it's about when they play together, isn't it? That's kind of the most important thing. But I think that's kind of Sunday kind of made me think that like a signing like Eze is even more of the balances. The scales have tipped again for me in terms of like
back in the Eze
sort of player, because it's like it puts pressure on a Maddison, because it's like, well, yeah, we're buying him because we think he can play out wide. But go and earn that spot now, because you've got Kulusevski breathing down your neck, and you've got someone like Eze breathing down your neck to go and play in that position. He's not playing centrally enough for me either. Like, just likes to float out too much to the wings, not affecting the game in central areas.
He's not creating. He's diddle daddling on the ball.
That dive for the penalty, like the. Should we talk about the decisions and stuff quickly? Because it's like I don't want to.
So did you think it was a penalty?
The Kulusevski,
yeah.
No.
I don't think it was a penalty. If that's given as a penalty for Spurs, I'd be so pissed off.
Yeah, I would as well. It's one of those ones where he might get it. I don't think he's not looking for it. He's actually kind of been too honest in a way. And if he goes down, I think there's more of a decision to make. And also, if he goes down, it probably doesn't happen. The goal doesn't happen because they aren't able to get out as quickly, and it doesn't happen. So it's like,
that's true.
But it falls to Maddison on the edge of the box, and that dive was shameless. That you've got Kulusevski trying to stay on his feet when he actually has been tripped a little bit. For me, I still don't think it's enough. But it's one of those ones where I get what people are saying. Like, if it happens anywhere else on the pitch, it's a foul and probably a yellow card. Yeah. But if it's in the penalty area, there's a higher bar, which I think there is a problem with that kind of. You kind of saw that with the Chelsea thing on Saturday night. Like, if Badiashile does that to Diego Carlos on the halfway line, probably not foul. It's probably just seen as being strong and winning your battles. So that I find that very odd. But for me, I don't really have a problem with it, and I have a massive problem with the Maddison dive, because it's just like, you could keep the ball. You've got them there, and it's like they're in their shape, and it's like how vulnerable you're going to be, and you just go down like that.
It just sums up his confidence, though, mate.
Exactly.
He's not confident in that. He's thinking of an easy way out of a tricky situation. He had a couple of players around him.
Shirking a bit of responsibility, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when you think.
I think it's piss poor.
And then you compare that with Romero, and you think Romero, they're the two vice captains, and you get the complete antithesis of that. The attitude Romero showed, and in your two vice captains. So Romero really showed Maddison up, and I think Maddison needs to know that he's not irreplaceable, and he needs to earn that position back. And I think it might be a case of it might take him till the beginning of next season to gain that confidence and trust his body a bit more, coming back from that injury, and that's fine. But he's going to have more competition next year. We might get an Eze, or Kulusevski will be there. Bergvall can play in the attacking 8. He can play in the more box-to-box 8, maybe even number 6. It'll be interesting to see him. It's interesting to see what happens with Jamie Donnelly, etc. Players like that. I know what Maddison's expected to start over all of them, but they're all competition. Lo Celso as well. I think he's been fantastic, and I wonder whether we'll sell him or not. But
well, there's talk about him signing a new contract.
Which I wouldn't be opposed to now. Like I think I'd only sell him if he's not signing a new contract. But if he's maybe staying for an extra year, he fits the system superbly. It's just he's not really fit.
Yeah. What did you think of the other Kulusevski penalty shout, the one in the second half? Not for me.
What one was that?
It was the one where he went on that really good run, and then he got in between, I think, Gabriel and Saliba. It was like right at the start of the second half, I think.
No, I can't remember it, so it wouldn't have been like that.
No, it wasn't for me.
No.
It was one of those classic ones where I'm not saying he dived, but it was like when when Basuma got sent off for the second yellow against Luton, when he actually did dive. To be fair,
yeah.
When people almost think because they go between two players, they think they're going to get it.
Yeah.
And maybe he was touched. I don't know, but it felt quite soft. I think the biggest travesty out of all of it, other than the Van de Ven offside goal, which is just incredibly unfortunate.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I think
the actual penalty.
That was the one thing. How the hell did he not give that?
What the fuck? You're right in front of it. You would have heard the boot smack it. You saw Rice's reaction. Did you see Rice? Yeah.
He knew. Rice knew. You could tell by Rice's body language. You knew.
And Oliver just stood there thinking, no penalty for me. No penalty. Fucking hell. And it's actually so patronising the way they make him waddle over to the screen and check it. Just everyone knows it's a Stonewall pen. Just I'm not.
It's like Ange said after the game, didn't he? It's like Ange said after the game, and again, it's the classic thing of Arsenal fans going, "Oh, I thought Ange didn't want to moan about the referees and VAR." He's not doing that. This has been his stance on VAR the whole time. He said that the games aren't being refereed in the stadium anymore, and they're not. They're not. No. But then again, you're kind of glad that they weren't, because that level of incompetence to not give that as a penalty in the first place is just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's
genuinely unbelievable. You're just looking right at it. It's like me looking at you now. Like you're right there.
Yeah.
Like I hear Ben Davis's balls just clapping and falling off. But what did you think of the offside?
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, what did you think of the offside?
The offside was absolutely I think that killed us off, because we gained so much momentum in the lead up to that. Romero had a couple of chances, and we felt like that first goal didn't phase us. Carry on doing our thing.
Yeah,
that Van
we were kind of more in the game than we were at 0-0.
No, exactly, and it was absolute bedlam when he scored. Van der Ven as well. Like, love it when he scores and he points to the badge. Like, you're just thinking.
Celebration. You've taken away one of a great North London derby moment there.
Yeah.
Do you know what it reminded me of? You might be too young to remember this. Actually, I think genuinely this is before when you said to me your first game was. There was a North London derby where we drew 3-3 at home. And have you ever seen that video of that Tom Huddleston goal, the left foot half volley?
Oh yeah, and it proper skims off.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's one of my favourite goals I've ever been in the stadium to see.
Yeah.
But in that game, it's quite a similar game really. We drew 3-3. We were 3-1 down at 3-2 down at half time because of that Huddleston goal. They scored really early, and then Van der Vaart equalised. Pretty much straight away. Chorley plays a free ball. It was when he went round to the Arsenal fans, did that run, and was like shushing them and fucking giving it like that.
Yeah,
I know Van der Ven didn't do that, but that's what it reminded me of. It felt like it was just like it's fallen to him and bang, and it's like he's running away, and like the subs and that
as well. Expressionless, grabbing a badge, like pure passion.
It was. Do you know what? It was horrible, right? And Postecoglou, like he said he doesn't celebrate goals anymore unless you can prove. Like there are some goals, it's like, well, there's nothing in this. Like we've built up from the back and we've played it, and we've worked it. They can't check this for anything. That's foolproof. the guy next to me and this guy that I sit next to, we were like, like fucking going mental. And then his mate who he sits next to was just like, offside. Like straight away he said it. And I was like, oh no. I was like, don't say that.
Yeah.
And then it's one of them things where the worst thing about modern football is being a fan that goes and watches your team week in, week out, and your mates who are sitting there watching it on the fucking TV, like all the gooners who don't go to the games. They see it before you. How do we not see it? Like,
actually, yeah.
It's so shit, mate. I'm having to scroll through fucking Twitter in the ground to going like, I've seen Charlie Eccleshare going, oh, I think they're going to rule this out. And then he goes, oh, maybe not. Actually, looks close. And it's like, and then it flags up. It's just like
it was ridiculous when I was in Centre Parks because I felt like a mug because I jumped out my seat and started giving it the big one. Not like,
but it was one of them moments though, wasn't it? 1-1, like
turn the tide, absolutely turn the tide, and
the game
you thought
completely different after that.
Yeah, you thought fucking hell, we're gonna go on now and keep going, and we're gonna stun them. And then the thing is, with a decision like that, it just kills all the momentum out of the game because it's so long, and then the end result is. We've still got a lot to do here. We're down still.
Yeah.
After all that emotion and all that.
From that
yeah, exactly. And then we're fighting again, and then Arsenal were back in control. It just benefited from a moment and it shouldn't be this way. If a decision is benefiting the team that is conceded, who's in a winning position, that's not fair, is it? In a psychological way, it benefited Arsenal that moment. We'd scored. It was absolute bedlam around the stadium. Momentum. Come on, we go again. Hang on. Let's wait 10 minutes for this fucking tiny offside decision. He wasn't gained an advantage. And then offside, we have to go again. It's such a mental...
The rule about the deflections thing is bollocks as well.
Yeah,
because they will say that, like... Because Tomiyasu's cleared it. He's not blocked it. He cleared it. He cleared the shot.
Intentionally looked at...
But a clearance isn't deemed as an intentional... sorry, no, that's not true. But that clearance is not deemed as being in control of the ball.
Yeah. What? There's no common sense, mate. That
makes no sense. He's kicked the ball. It's not blocked. If that had hit Tomiyasu, then hit... I can't remember who the second touch was off.
And he had no idea about it.
Yeah, and he's the length of his bollock offside. Then you can kind of understand it because it's like, well, it's pinball and it's Tomiyasu's cleared the ball. Yeah, that's what's really frustrating. It's really frustrating, mate. Yeah. It's really, and like you said, it gives them a chance to think like, look, we got away with this. Let's just settle now. Let's just calm, and it changes the game state, and it sucked a bit of the life out of the atmosphere and stuff in the ground, which was actually good. It was good, like. They felt gettable. They felt like
they were shaky. They were a bit sloppy in possession. They kept losing the ball. I don't know if you watched it, but Neville was saying like, "Oh, I don't know, Arsenal. They don't look too happy. They don't look comfortable." And then we scored, and it was like unbelievable scenes. And then
they look shaky here. Arsenal are going to go again.
Yeah, so Arteta won't be happy. But the annoying thing is as well, it's just like. For a neutral as well, I can imagine. All of a sudden, it's 1-1. What a game! Game on. This is what North London derby's all about. Yeah. 10 minutes later,
no one wants that goal disallowed except for Arsenal.
Exactly. 10 minutes later, they were 3-0 up. Game gone, and it was just like stale. And the whole livelihood of it left. And then we were all dead inside. And I can imagine neutrals being like, "Oh fucking hell," because it was just bang, goal, bang, goal, bang, goal. After that, and it's just. Yeah. But then obviously we equalised, and it became interesting again. But how do you think of Højbjerg's performance quickly? What do you think? He was all right?
I thought it was all right. I thought it was okay. I think it was pretty typical Højbjerg, wasn't it? Some good, some bad.
Sometimes maybe shit, some bad.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
That's it.
That's literally him. Like I thought it was okay. I thought Bentancur was quite good in the first half.
Yeah, he got subbed off though. I mean, again,
that midfield in the second half did work better.
Yeah, legs.
I'm surprised he didn't go with that. But I thought Basuma was decent. He wasn't any worse than Højbjerg. No. And I thought Sarr was good. I thought Sarr was really good.
I feel bad for Sarr. I think he should be playing more. He didn't start against Newcastle.
I think he'll change it Thursday.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he was really good against Chelsea, Sarr, in the first, like when we were dominating that first 15 minutes. Well, obviously, we're getting up to Chelsea in just a minute. But firstly, before we do that, Ben, Santiago Jimenez and fuck me, I'm going to mispronounce the name. Geertruida. We're both at the game, which got a couple of people excited on Twitter. I know they watched us lose, but
they were. Weren't they both also at West Ham Liverpool the day before?
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Well,
Fuck.
Geertruida definitely was. I think
He's
I
linked with
saw that
Liverpool as
earlier.
well.
Yeah, Arnie Slot.
On the slot. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that. But let's pretend they weren't. If they were,
I didn't know that.
fuck Santiago. Jimenez didn't want him anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Who?
Okay, so Jimenez and his agent, and then Geertruida were both for the game. Do you think that's transfer related? I feel like you've kind of already answered that.
Yeah, I pissed on your cornflakes a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, they're
Sorry
both for the
about
game, Ben. Like, we're going to sign him. They already signed. There's stuff that's going on we don't know. I didn't know they're at West Ham, Liverpool, but where would, if we did bring him in, where would they fit in the system? And give us a breakdown of both, like where they both play. And quickly, I don't think we actually linked with Geertruida, but he's the personnel we should be looking for. Do you agree?
he's I'm not that bothered about Jimenez. Geertruida's the one. Like I think that Spurs maybe should be looking at. Which makes it weird why Liverpool will be looking at Geertruida because of the position that he plays in. He can play as centre back, can play right back, unless it's going to be a complete change in system when Slot goes there and maybe Trent tucks into midfield.
Should play left back this season as well.
Yeah, he's played and he can play in midfield as well, can't he, Geertruida?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he plays number 6. Yeah, I really like him. Physical, dominant down that flank. I'm a fan of him, and I think that out of the two, I'm kind of more interesting. Jimenez started the season like a house on fire, but I don't think he's scored since March.
No, which is really worrying because you're thinking about Janssen straight away, aren't you?
Yeah,
you actually are. Yeah,
you're still thinking about Janssen, aren't you?
So would you like what would Jimenez actually bring to the team? Because what I'm thinking is if we bring in like a Santiago Jimenez, we can keep Richarlison, and I would actually like to keep Richarlison. Like Jimenez isn't that player that comes in and be like, right, I'm the main man. No, he's a different player that can add a different dynamic to the team and a bit of depth if we're going into like Europa League, like maybe in the FA Cup and stuff. A lot of people are thinking maybe he should play on the wing. I still think he's really good when he's playing up front with space in behind. But a lot of teams now know how to nullify him, so they'll sort of sit a bit deep and restrict him. But Jimenez, he's a bit of a hassler. He works really hard. He's relatively quick. He's powerful. He's got a good leap on him. He's just under 6 foot. Decent in the air. But again, he had a purple patch of form, and he's sort of just he's sort of disappeared.
Still very young, isn't he? Like 23. I think he's 22, 23. Yeah. He's more of that kind of deep line forward, isn't he? He likes to kind of get involved in the play.
Which is kind of what we kind of want with a hold-up play.
Yeah, I think it's 21 goals, 5 assists or something like that?
21. In the Eredivisie, I think he's got 2 goals, 2 assists.
He was on fire in the Champions League as well,
Champions League, I think he's got 2 goals, 2 assists.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. For me, like we both said before when we sort of did the strikers thing, I don't think we should sign a striker unless it's an upgrade on Richarlison, and I'm not sure Jimenez is that. So, but like you said, if it means that we can keep Richarlison and have both of them as options, then it's like we've got some talented. So I kind of rather give someone like Lancashire a chance.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Will Lancashire. He's kind of got that physical presence. Scored twice again on Friday. Under 21s won the league phase in the
PL2. Oh my God, fair play. That's unbelievable.
Now we're going to. I think they lost 5-0 tonight to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Good season, lads.
It was a good season. I mean, that's just Spurs, isn't it? As soon as you win something, you fucking get peppered with 5-0.
Yeah, the tweet says plenty of changes to the side this evening, but it's defeat for under 21s against Palace 5-0. I think he changed it a lot and gave a lot of the younger players a chance. Some names that I'm not really good on here, so makes sense. But Lancashire for me, I'd kind of like to blood him in a little bit rather than
Europa League. Maybe he has that. He might have that opportunity, and obviously we haven't talked about Mikey Moore.
So sharp, man. Yeah, Mikey
Moore being on the travelling with the team wasn't. He wasn't on the bench or anything.
Number 59.
Nice, mate. He's going to be. You can tell already. He's going to be unbelievable. I didn't realize how big he was. I thought he was quite slight, but he looks like he's started to already fill into his body, which is amazing for us. But again, he's probably a player
not so much as like players like Donnelly or Lancashire, like who look like men. I think Scarlett's kind of gone through that a little bit. Mikey Moore still does look a bit like a boy, but I get what you mean. Like
he's
feels
grown
like
a bit.
Change.
He looks like he's grown.
Yeah, he does. And the most important thing was Postecoglou saying what was it? He said that he didn't look out of place at all, which is really encouraging.
That's great.
And that's
He's
the most
16
important
years
thing.
old. Fucking hell. Look, and,
Yeah. What was I doing at 6? I was working at Domino's when I was 16.
Mate, I didn't even have a pube when I was 16. I mean, I've barely got naps. Well, I reckon now we're setting him up to be in the Europa League next year and sort of bleed him into the team. But Geertruida, the thing about Geertruida is that he's so versatile and he offers a different type of player, like a different dynamic in defending than Pedro Porro. And we're thinking about set pieces as well. If we're playing against the Arsenals, Geertruida is a type of player that you kind of want to play maybe over Porro, more physical and aerial dominant. And what I'm thinking is, I think we need to sign a left back and a right back that can cover centre back as well.
Yeah.
And or someone that can play left back and right back and cover centre back would be ideal. I'm thinking of the Califoris and the Geertruidas, and that would just give us so much more license to tweak our tactics depending on the game and play a bit more defensively or a bit more like physical. I know Doggy is physical when he's aerially dominant, but it just gives us that little bit of license to sort of tweak things and be a bit more solid in our structure, and then against the teams that can capitalise in those moments. And I think Geertruida would be a really good sign, but it's interesting. Hopefully he was there on a transfer basis, but if he weren't, then it is what it is. He might have just been watching for the enjoyment of it. On to Chelsea then, mate. So after that match, how confident are you that we'll beat Chelsea? Factoring in as well their home record against us, which is a joke, and I think we've only beaten them once at Stamford Bridge, and that was that Dele Alli goal. Dele Alli scored 2-0 win. Was it 2018?
3-1. It's 3-1, wasn't it? Ericsson.
Oh yeah, 3. Oh, cool. Oh, Ericsson scored a fucking unbelievable goal, didn't he? Morata scored, didn't he? So that was the only time we won at Stamford Bridge, wasn't it? So factoring that in, how do you think we'll perform against them? Are you confident? Because they turn into fucking prime Madrid against us every single year.
Yeah, they played well Saturday as well, to be fair. They played very well against Villa. And this has kind of been the story of their season. They play well against the big sides. It was only really Arsenal that dished out a fucking thumping to them.
Yeah.
I think they drew both games against City, didn't they? They got battered by Liverpool, actually, as well at Stamford Bridge. But yeah, other than that, they've been pretty decent against the bigger sides. So yeah, I'm not looking forward. I'm going to Stamford Bridge on Thursday.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, nice one, mate.
Yeah, man.
Put your centre back.
Yeah. See what John's doing as well. Just get us both there.
Put on your fucking Tottenham kit, shin pads, boots, whenever there's a set piece, and just mark the sassy.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll be like,
"Who's your man?"
Ange will be like. Ange will be looking at Jednak and Mason and being like, "What the fuck is that?" And then Jednak will be like, "I don't know, but he looks fucking big, mate. Keep him there."
Yeah, get him on, mate. Mickey, you're coming off.
Oh, that's funny. No, I mean, I actually, for me personally, I'm really confident, and I don't know why. And I feel like that's going to be my biggest downfall watching this game, because that's bad going into it confident. Because if we lose, I'm going to actually I'm going to hate my life. But I just think the way that ended that game, Arsenal, I think a lot of players would take that momentum into the next game. The players like Romero. Also, we got a lot to prove against Chelsea. That game was a travesty earlier this season, and it fucked up our season. And we didn't know it was going to be so significant in the sort of how this season panned out. And it really was. It was the catalyst of change. We were fucking winning the league before then, and in that first 10 minutes, we completely dominated, completely outplayed them, and we were so hard to deal with. They looked shook, and then obviously they brought themselves back in the game, and we lost our heads. I think players like Romero, and I'm thinking of Romero particularly again, because he didn't have he made a couple, not mistakes, but he was at fault in the reverse fixture at Arsenal. Plays Arsenal again, and he plays with a player with a point to prove. I think he will do that again against Chelsea. I think he'll take that aggression. He'll take that enthusiasm.
Imagine a Romero winner at Stamford Bridge would hit like crack.
Yeah, and then people were like, fucking hell, Arsenal and Chelsea. Romero's popping up front again.
I think he would pull the badge off his shirt so much that he'd actually rip it. You could imagine Romero coming up to me, his other centre-back partner in the away end at Stamford Bridge, just like, yes!
He just starts punching you in the back of the head. That's his show of affection.
Yeah. I love that man so much. I would die for Christian Romero.
Yeah, I actually would, mate. He just gives you that sort of fucking that hope of everything's going to be all right. He's our bully. We've got him. He's just like a
you want to pick on us, yeah? You want to pick on Brennan Johnson, yeah? You little mug. Fuck off.
Gimp. Yeah, fuck off. We got the fucking Argentinian World Cup winner, mate, and he'll fucking knock you out. The thing is, I just think he's gonna play like a man possessed again, like he did against Arsenal, because he knows that he let the team down, and he hates letting the team down. And
you could see it was, at the Emirates he was gutted, wasn't he? He was unlucky as well, wasn't he?
He was really unlucky. He was really unfortunate. Yeah, but Chelsea, he was a bit fucking Romero. Like, come on, you got lucky with the Thiago Silva kick out. Did he kick him out or something like that? And then his head was gone, and then he went into Enzo Fernandez and he went in with that bit of bite, and that's what I'm saying.
Do you not think though that red card looks even more ridiculous week after week?
Oh yeah, because you keep seeing it. Yeah, you do keep seeing that. Yeah.
Bollocks.
He did have intention.
It wasn't red.
He did, yeah.
Oh yeah,
he did. And his head was gone. And I just think, he's gonna. But then not just Romero. I think the whole team. I think Son and again Van de Ven. His game was cut short. Maddison again. Not hopefully, but we were saying that we don't know if he'll start. And I just think. I don't know. I think it's one of those games where we have to win. Chelsea are really inconsistent. If we can like shock them early on and grab the game by the scruff of the neck, a couple of big challenges, obviously not losing our heads, we can frustrate the home fans. Go there the way we did against the Aston Villa, etc. I think we'll have them. I think we'll win 4-1.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
4-1.
I'm gonna look like a dickhead after that.
I want what you've been smoking
at Centre Parks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
you've come back from Centre Parks. It's more like holistic, I've been one with nature.
The trees fucking told me. Kuti Romero brace.
You were in the woods and a tree went. Will, come here. Thursday.
I'm like that, like. What the fuck? Who's fucking saying that?
Thursday, Stamford Bridge. Romero scores a winner, mate. 100 quid on it.
I might actually do it. Yeah, if you're listening here, I'll put 100 quid on 4-1 Spurs. Trust me.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick my neck on the line. I think we're going to win, lose or draw.
Fuck.
I did it against Arsenal. I was right, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were right. Yeah, you were right. Put money on that. Fucking put money on a win, lose or draw. You
at request a bet, Spurs to win, lose or draw.
How much can I get? Yeah. Which one are you choosing? That one.
Yeah. What do you mean? Which one are you choosing?
I've got a weird feeling in my ball bag that like a little tingle that we're gonna fucking win 4-1, and I may need to get that checked out, or we're gonna fucking pump them at Stamford Bridge and make Pochettino cry as well, and they can't do anything back because they can't sack him because they're out of money. But
can I say something though?
How would they hurt us if they did? After you say what you're about to say,
I was going to say, is it bad that I actually don't? I still quite like Podge. Is that bad?
I don't think that's bad because it's like
I enjoyed him after the game against Villa. I thought what he said about VAR was right. I enjoyed him after the press conference when they were trying to talk about the penalty incident all over it. He's a good guy. I just do like him.
But
I still want to fucking pull his pants down and give him a little wedgie.
I don't know. It's a weird feeling that it's so much pain when you see him. Because even when he fell to his knees at the end of the Villa game, and I was thinking, Poch. And then I looked a bit closer and I was like, Chelsea tracksuit, like what the fuck? It couldn't get like that, or Arsenal couldn't get any fucking worse. Oh my!
It's a good job there. Shit, isn't it? Well, I say
that's the thing. That's the thing.
I was impressed with them against Villa. Madueke, I think, could hurt us down that side. He's sort of clicked into gear a little bit.
And Kunku's
Palmer,
back, isn't he?
yeah, I don't
Is he
think he'll
back in
play though.
training? No,
I don't
okay,
think
that's
he'll play.
good.
I think he'll probably be Jackson, Mudryk, Palmer, and Madueke.
Madueke might play with something to prove as well against Spurs.
Yeah, he took that goal really well. So did Gallagher, to be fair. They played well, Chelsea. That Palmer, Jackson's going to score. I've been saying for a while. I actually think Jackson is actually all right. He is good. He's just that he just seems
always in the right
cursed.
position, isn't he?
Yeah. Just not too much chances. But you'll get another hat trick on Thursday. But no, they were hurt.
How do we let us do that?
Caicedo played really well actually on Saturday as well. That was the best I've seen him in a long, long time.
Is Cole still injured? Sorry, I should have done my checks really, but is he still injured, Cole?
Because I'm trying to think is Lampard still injured?
What's that Didier Drogba? Is he still in the club? No, why I'm asking that is because I feel like a lot of their English players step up, or the players that sort of get the badge and get what it means to play for Chelsea. This is their game of the season. Like Reece James, always he's a great player, but he's always so pumped up for this game.
Yeah, he played really well against us in the other game, didn't he?
Yeah, Cole as well. Like the aggression he showed against Sarr in the reverse fixture, Gallagher and Cole Palmer, the players that know what it means to play for Chelsea, and then you've got the other players that sort of passengers in that Chelsea team. But Madueke, again, which I just said, like he's definitely got something to prove against Spurs. Like I think he'd love to play his best game against Spurs, and I'm just a little bit worried in that sense. But I just got a feeling we're just gonna take that aggression, and that drive from those two last goals at the Emirates against Arsenal. I mean, we fucking won that game 2-0 second half. What can I say? And then we're going to take that into this game. I'm hoping.
That's the real quiz.
Yeah, that's the real quiz. But I don't know. I'm definitely delusional, but I think I'm thinking that sort of make me feel better about the game.
Mate,
a couple of
I've
days
got
ago.
half day booked off. When I'm in the the pub about 3:00 on Thursday, I'll be feeling the same. I reckon. I felt we was on the Beehive yesterday, and we all just thought, you know what, we could fucking do this. We could do it.
That's probably why you were so annoyed at the end of the game as well.
Yeah, it was a bad omen from the start though. Yesterday, we should have known. Like we got me, my mate George, and my old man. We got on the train at 10:10, and the train got cancelled because the door closed. So I had to wait half an hour for the next train. It was like, this is going to be a bad day. This is going to be a bad day. So Thursday, if my train gets cancelled on the way into work in the morning,
that's when you know.
Yeah, 4-0 Chelsea.
Let me know, and I'll cancel my bet.
All right, yeah. Romero, see, I won't cancel mine because we still will win, lose, or draw. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I might have to join you. I mean,
100-1. What?
I don't know if Romero will win. Will score, but I can see. I don't know who will score. Oh, he'll play, and he'll play well, I think. But yeah, I don't know why I'm so confident. Let us know as well in the comments if you're listening.
Yeah,
if you're still listening. Get your predictions in, because I want to see how people feel after that Arsenal game. Are you confident that we're gonna bounce back? Especially if you're looking at, I know it's been a while, but Arsenal and Newcastle back-to-back losses.
Yeah.
How do you think we're going to play at Stamford Bridge? That's the question.
I think we'll play well.
I think so as well.
They'll give us chances, but yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be a draw.
A draw.
1 or 2 or draw.
Okay. Well,
I'll take that, to be fair.
I swear in the running, and I predicted top 4, you fancied us against Arsenal as well, didn't you? I can't remember. So what's the maximum points again? We after the Arsenal game, should we go back to it? So Chelsea draw, Liverpool
win.
Okay.
I think we could beat. Do you know what's mad? I think we could go to Anfield and do something.
Oh my god, they would fucking hate that as well. They would absolutely hate that. They hate us because of that last. I mean, they'll remember it as soon as we step out on the pitch. Anfield will turn on us. They'll remember that performance or that game. But maybe I'm just hoping we just don't beat City more and more. I'm feeling that we're gonna fucking.
I do as well. I was thinking about it earlier.
I'm really worried about that game. I'm really worried we might win.
I think it'll be the weirdest Spurs game I ever go to.
Yeah, it'll be flat.
How's it get weirder than that?
It'll be flat. Yeah, it's just been doing the. Oh, really quick! I went to Brighton and City.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
On Thursday. So I was in the away end at City, and love my mate. He's I was so happy he got us tickets, and it was actually really nice to watch City play because they're so good. And obviously, I was definitely one of them to win. But it's really weird, and in a weird way, it kind of made me love Spurs even more because I was watching it and thinking, "There's no jeopardy here."
No.
It was like when you're playing FIFA career mode on semi-pro, and you score.
We like turn all the sliders up.
Yeah, and you score, and you're like, haha, yeah. It was like that, and you could see and what pissed me off as well. I was a couple of people, lads in front of me, they were trying to pick out Brighton fans and doing the wanker, like the 4-0 wanker, and I was just like, well done, he's 13. Yeah, like what the fuck are you?
Was it the same City fan as the video that went
around?
around?
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah. It's like Shaggy when there's a villain next to Scooby Doo or something. Yeah.
I mean, so good.
But I was just thinking, there's no jeopardy here, and what I love about Spurs is the absolute bedlam of everything's on the line. We may concede if we don't score right now. And we score, and it's absolute like euphoria and amazing, and you're so happy and you're so relieved. When you're playing, they just in cruise control. They'd score. It wouldn't even look like they break a sweat, and then the fans were like, "Yeah, sit there, yeah." And then
their away support is quite good, though, isn't it? It is good.
Oh, you know what? That surprised me. That did really surprise me. But I just felt like there was a bit of like of course we've won. Do you know what I mean? It felt like, we're happy.
They ain't lost in the Prem since last year, have they? You kind of forget the mad unbeaten run they're on.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, the away fans were really good actually. I was impressed, and I had a few drinks. I was joining in the chants and stuff. But it was with the champions of Europe and that felt shameless. It was strange. The comparison between watching Spurs and watching City. Obviously, I've got the emotional attachment to watching Spurs, but I can't imagine what it's like to be a City fan because it's the jeopardy that makes a win even more addictive or special. Yeah. Okay. Lastly, then, so you're saying you're thinking biggest threat for Chelsea is Madueke or Cole Palmer or
Palmer? Yeah, I think Madueke will cause us problems, but I think Palmer.
Yeah, Romero just needs to fucking break his legs.
Yeah, go through him early doors.
Yeah, exactly. Let him know you're there. And would you drop Maddison then? And what would your team be in the front? Because I think Seb, friend of the show, Seb talks football. Is Seb talks football? Seb on football. Oh, Seb on football. You're Ben talks football. Yeah. Getting mixed up. Yeah, Seb on football. He said he posted that his front three would be Son on the left, for Charlton up front, Kulusevski, and then Kulusevski in the middle, Brennan Johnson on the right. Yeah, you agreed, did you? Or did you agree on another post? Was it Lily White Lab?
I tweeted on the Lily White Lab one, and then Seb tweeted it as well. And then I made a video about it yesterday or this morning, talking about. I think Seb made a video about it as well, but I talked about it I did a video this morning, like 5 things we learned from the derby, and I said about it in there in terms of it was more an overall point about Kulusevski, and then that has to be the front four for me. So I'd go the same. I think obviously the back 5 picks itself, obviously with the goalkeeper. I'd probably go Basuma and Sarr, I reckon, against Chelsea.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Kulu, Johnson, Son, Richarlison.
It's weird with Sarr and Bentancur because whoever don't get picked, I feel sorry for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know if you play both at the moment. Yeah, it's just that's what depth does. It's a good problem to have, I guess. But
I reckon against City we just play all of them. Play them up front
exactly. Sarr scores a hat-trick, and we've come across some gem.
Coming off, mate. Benson's going goal.
We just come across like some that we didn't know. Sarr was like one of the best strikers in the world. Has every attribute. Like he's rapid, getting in, like his long legs, getting in behind.
I can see it now. The Sky Sports YouTube highlights: Sarr hat-trick seals title for Arsenal.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. I'm really scared about that game, actually.
Yeah, me too.
And then score predictions, Ben. 4-1?
2-2, I think.
2-2.
Desmond.
It's really depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
I'll take that. I'll take a point at Stamford. I'll take a point at Chelsea.
Yeah, off of recent history.
I just want to see us play well. I just want to see play well and get a result. That's what I want.
Yeah. Up the Spurs, everyone. Thank you
Up Spurs.
so much for listening. Really quickly, we want to address something. The last episode there was a bit of a delay, so thanks for sticking with us on the last episode. That wasn't anything to do with us. It was the platform we were using, but we've changed it up now. And as you could probably see, I think there are watermarks in the video, but we hopefully that problem's sort of resolved. But legends, thank you so much for joining us again for this episode, Ben. Where can you find us and where can you find yourself?
Pleasure, mate. Find us YouTube. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Leave some comments as well. Share it with your mates. We're nearly at 200 subscribers on YouTube as well, so just growing towards next season.
Yeah, it's mental. It's been amazing.
Yeah. And the numbers have been really good the last couple of weeks. Spotify and everything. It feels like we're kind of getting somewhere. Follow on Spotify. Automatic download as well. Follow, give us a rating. That massively helps us. We're now in the football filter on Spotify as well. We got that done.
Yeah,
we're not American football anymore. So whoever it was that left a comment about that, that's done. Yeah, Apple as well. Give us a follow on there. I think we're still trying to get on Amazon and stuff. So if anyone's waiting for that, we'll be sorting that out. And then me, you can find me TikTok, Ben Bowman, Twitter, Ben Bowman, YouTube, again coming soon. Sorry, Proby, he pulled me up on that. Coming soon. And Proby said if we could say potato 10 times in the episode, he would. What did he say?
I don't know. Didn't he say like it?
Give us like 100 quid each. Potato.
Probably my bank details are.
Yeah.
All right, legend. Everyone, take care, and we'll see you all soon.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah, every little thing.
All right. Everything's gonna be all right.
Remember, 4-1.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Romero hat trick.
Yeah.
Now.